having an amazing time here at Right in Kajiado. And about now, we have Ajra, who leads the work of Nguvu Collective in Kenya. And here she is to discuss with her all about Nguvu Collective in Kenya. Hi, Ajra.
Hi.
How are you doing? Can you please tell us about Nguvu and what it means to a common Kenyan?
Sorry, can you repeat the question?
Can you tell us about Nguvu and how it is impactful for a common Kenyan?
Yeah. So Nguvu Collective, as the word itself stands for Power Collective. And essentially the organization's vision is a world where women are in a position of power, creating social change through the collective, through the combined effort of a collective. And so I would say that Nguvu's impact in Kenya, once all these women leaders that we brought together here in the launchpad go out there and start their social change campaigns, will be like a lot of social impact in different spheres of life, including in education, in menstrual hygiene and menstrual health, gender-based violence, female genital mutilation, and the health sector, specifically maternal health, because these are all issues that are really close to these women's hearts, issues that they have lived experiences of. And because of those lived experiences, they want to ensure that certain injustices that happened around those themes don't happen to other women or even young girls across Kenya.
Can you tell us a little bit how far you've come since you started this movement?
Mm. Yeah, Nguvu is about a year old in Kenya, but it's been around, I would say, now for like about 2 years. It was just mainly trying to build out a team so that they could have like some sort of local presence. And then a lot of the effort also went into trying to introduce ourselves as an organization to different partners, trying to explore synergies with different organizations so that we can work in this journey of social change together. So far it's been about 2 years, but in terms of the proactiveness of the organization itself and its change leaders, it's been about a year. And because most of them started coming into these different programs to become change leaders from January 2023. So there was a cohort that happened in January 2023, like a pilot, and then a second one in July 2023, and all of them were online. And then finally, because we saw some of the challenges around online learning, we decided to also now finally do the first ever residential program, bringing these women together, because at the end of the day, we wanted to ensure they have these connections that they can build and they're able to physically meet each other in a physical space. And that's why we decided to do a residential one. Yeah, because of that significance of the impact and the experience that we wanted to give them.
So, in 5 years' time, where do you see Nguvu at?
Hmm. Yeah, in 5 years' time, I'm very, very optimistic that some of our change leaders will end up vying for different political offices. We already have a few change leaders who in 2022 contested for senatorial position in Embu, and one for MCA in Suba North, I think. Yeah. So they still have political aspirations, and they're not the only one. We have a cohort of about 28 women, amazing women, and about a third of them have aspirations to take up political positions, including some of our team leaders with disabilities like Josephine Mwende and Hannah Wanja. So I see us as an organization that will be there supporting these change leaders to rise into those positions of political power, political and social power. And then also just in terms of as an organization, outside of its change leaders, I also see ourselves as an organization that would have grown in its capacity and in its credibility within the country. And an organization that is known, like for impact, and that can be relied on as a thought partner when it comes to different expertise, especially when it comes to campaigning and advocacy.
This, I believe, is the first launch ever. So, what is so most impressive about this specific launch? What are your aims after this launch?
Yeah. Our aims after the launchpad is to just really strongly continue to support these women leaders, because right now what we have helped them to be able to work through is, first of all, like reflecting on the different issues that they want to truly work on, and totally narrow down on what it is exactly they could start with, that has the capacity to at least achieve short-term impact. So once, because that is something that they have started on, and also there's an activity we've taken them through where they think about the big dreams that they have, the big dreams that they have. The next step will be to now really support them when they're out there in the different social change campaigns that they've started. Some of them have campaigns where maybe like, for example, campaigns on period poverty. And part of like the strategy for that campaign might end up entailing engagements with different decision makers. Already we've met like with some decision makers like Senator Gloria. So just a continuation of that in more force and full force to continue to build that momentum. So that's definitely one thing. The other thing is to continue to ensure that this collective of women continues to have a space where they continue to bond and work together. So we want to continue to be an enabler of social change by facilitating different spaces where they can come together both virtually and online and continue to advocate for the issues that they work on.
Since you're a leader in Kenya, what's the Kenyan outlook of Nguvu? Like, which specific counties maybe are you in? Yeah.
Yeah. We have presence in majority of the counties, but so far, like some of the counties we've had presence the most, and that's by the number of our chain leaders in each of the counties. It's in Nairobi County, Kiambu, Siaya. We have chain leaders from Kisumu, chain leaders from Vihiga, chain leaders from Narok, Samburu, and chain leaders from Kajiado, and lastly, chain leaders from Kisii and Meru. So at least 10 counties for now. Yeah.
As you wind up, I believe like you have like local partners. So can you just mention a couple and maybe the impact that they give to Nguvu and why the partnership?
Yeah. We do have local partners that we've worked with on different spheres. Some of the local organizations also that are co-founded by our change leaders, because we are very intentional about wanting to support them in their initiatives. And so we do partner very closely with them in their individual capacity and as organizations. So, like for example, one of our change leaders, Josephine, has an organization that is called Able Rise Africa, and we've been able to work together with her organization, especially in order to access more women with disabilities, so that we could create more awareness on the issue that she's working on, which is maternal health, especially for women with disabilities. Other organizations include CRU. We also have Youth Empowerment Network, an organization we've worked with previously on issues of sexual and reproductive health and rights. We've also worked very closely with NAYA, as in fact some of our chain leaders, about 5 of them in the previous cohorts, are NAYA fellows. Yeah, just to mention but a few. Yeah, and there are other partnerships that we've also like partnered with very recently, like Shujaz, who we look forward to the amazing work that we'll be able to do. Hopefully, with them also we can reach more number of Kenyans and scale to more countries.
Okay. So what's next?
I think for Nguvu Collective, this was a pilot that we wanted to see if it's possible, because so far the program itself had only been carried out in India, and 10 launch pads have happened in India. This is the first ever residential one in Africa, I would say, in this kind of setup and capacity. So I feel like we've set the trend in Kenya for Launchpad as Nguvu Collective. The next step would definitely be to pilot it in Nigeria to see how that would work out. And then definitely in Kenya, probably we might end up starting to deliberate on maybe like the second cohort of the launch, but maybe sometime later in the year or early next year, just depending on how things go, because we are very also keen in evaluation and learning from the work that we do. So we really want to join together after this as a team, evaluate how this was, how everything how everything happened, and even incorporate feedback from the change leaders, and then think about when the next one is going to be.
Interesting. So, my last question is let's talk about inspiration. Everything somebody does is supposed to be inspired from something. You might as well talk about the inspiration, then maybe share your social media platform. So, maybe anybody that wants to join the Ngovo can join when you wind
Yeah.
up.
Um, Inspiration. I mean, for me personally, what really motivates me and inspires me to do the work that I do at Nguvu Collective, it's the work itself, which is like building movements of women leaders who are fighting for social change, and that stems from also like my own experience. I come from Mombasa. I mean, a lot of people don't know this, but for those who know Mombasa and Swahili Port Hub, I was one of the original pioneers together with Mahmoud Noor and other young people who ended up revolutionizing the technology empowerment ecosystem in Mombasa. And what I mean by that is back in 2011, we realized a lot of tech opportunities stemmed from Nairobi. And back then it was iHub that was really well known. And so we wanted to build something similar to iHub in Mombasa so that at least some of the opportunities could be distributed from Nairobi to Mombasa. And it took a while, but then finally, like with the emergence of Swahili Port Hub, we are seeing more opportunities. And with events like One Innovation Week, we are seeing more opportunities moving on from there. So for me, it stems from that. A lot of people don't know this, but also back in 2018, I was nominated twice to be the county chief officer for mining, ICT, and energy for Taita Taveta County. It's an opportunity I ended up not taking, but it's just to show that I've always been rooted in the grassroots and in my home, and in just trying to find ways to give back to my community. And that's the same spirit that Nguvu Collective also embodies, that resonated with my values as an individual and the kind of work that I want to do for my country, that impact that I want to create both socially, economically, and politically. And so that is what inspires me to do this. And as an organization, what inspires us to do the work that we do is that, like what I say, change, true social change, and Nguvu, which is power. We want to see power equally distributed, and we believe that women, when given a chance also to take up positions of power, create even better impact than any other individual. And so, yeah, we have a lot of hope, and we believe that it can be done. It may take a while, but yeah, we will see it happen eventually if we work together.
Thank you so much and all the best. You can share your social media platform.
Yeah, on social media.
Well,
So, to follow us and to learn more about us, you can follow us on our social media platforms. On Twitter, we are at Nguvu Collective. On LinkedIn, we are Nguvu Collective LinkedIn. And on Instagram, it's just Nguvu Collective. Yeah, and our website is www.nguvucollective.org.
Thank you so much for having us.